Hey now. Cheers. Tuesday, the 17th of May. So I'm just getting rolling and still processing my visit, not only with my cousin Leroy, but then all of the other family members, in particular the great and great cousins that I met, their children, and still just processing. It was just a really cool time. A really cool time. Let me get another bit of coffee in me. Part of what I have in mind this morning is to do kind of an update for my family, because I know that they watch all the videos. Stephanie, I know you're going to catch this, and Kareem and the twins, and I don't know what other relatives of mine are watching, but I wanted to share that another cool thing about that with the visit with Leroy was that, see, Leroy's dad is my mom's brother, Hiawatha. She was the youngest, and I think Hiawatha was next, and then I have three other uncles, and I have fond and really strong memories of childhood around Leroy's parents, Merrill and Hiawatha. I really liked them both, even though Hiawatha had some brain damage from working with extracting copper from lead, something where you had to burn it in the fumes, and that's what ended up. If you see the pictures of my cousin Ronnie, who has a really bad lazy eye, he was badly affected through birth of that stuff, born with some defects. But there was a time when I was around 12 or 13. Things get really fuzzy to me at times, but I remember what I remember about them. But there was a time about that time when I was going into junior high school when things at home were just really rough, really financially and mentally rough. And so I was sent to live with my grandparents to help alleviate, just to help things out. So glad I did. At the time I was confused. It was like, why me? I didn't do nothing. I didn't cause no problems. It was the best thing that could have happened to me in that time. The thing that Leroy didn't know was that when I moved in with my grandparents, our grandparents, his dad was living back at home. He had was on one of those streaks where the drinking was out of control and he wasn't taking care of himself, and so he ended up back home with mom and dad. So I lived with his dad for a while, and that was interesting to share with him. So we could trade notes, and it actually has a lot to do with why I don't drink. I got done with my drinking as a teen, and then as an adult, I was done with it. I mean, you can count on this hand how many times as an adult I've been drunk. Also I wanted to share that before Leroy left Sunday night, I showed him the video online, because he and his wife, they don't have a computer, and they're oblivious to all that stuff. And so it was real neat to see himself for the first time on a television, and we both had a good laugh at some of the funny moments. And then I also read to him the comments that had come in already up to that point. And he was deeply touched, people, and he said, boy, I can't even remember his words, but I can thank you all you know, really special, really special. So yesterday, I'm getting to some music. Yesterday, I had a photo shoot for this article about me that's going to be an attempt to be an overview of my music life as a collector and as an artist. So I did the photo shoot yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and then they interviewed me another time at the photo shoot. We'll see how they incorporate that. That was really fun. The issue comes out in July. Also, mainly for the family, but some of you other folks might find this interesting. I, for years, did guest lecturing at local universities, Creighton, UNO. I'd even, for a time, was traveling up to Sioux City and speaking up there on a regular basis about, well, interestingly enough, I used to lecture also at Metro, and that was part of my job, on mental health issues. And then when I was going up to Sioux City, that was on racism. I was a special guest talking about racism in the Midwest. Well, let me just pull it up here, because I just got the message from University of Nebraska, Omaha, their Music Tech Guest Series. The grant for this deal was funded, and so I'm going to be lecturing at University of Nebraska as part of this series on being an artist. Artist talks, as well as they want me to do a workshop, or if you'd prefer, they'd love me to put on a concert. So that's coming up this fall in September. I'm pleased about that because, again, that's work, that's paid work, and it's also I love it. Again, it's more of an accomplishment and a sign of respect for what I do. I love it. I'm just letting you all know. One more thing. Yesterday, a drummer artist that I was in Sun Ambulance with, Jonathan Mark Sievers, finished his portrait of me. It's stunning. I love it. I like this wood carving that's on display of me here in Omaha in public on 33rd Street. Waddy White did a pretty cool job with wood carving, but this is a painting, and Jonathan captured me. It's just really stunning. It's on my Instagram, and it's also on my Facebook, so you can see it. Stunning. He really captured. I look at the painting and I see me. It's stunning. It's awesome. So the photo shoot was out in West Omaha, part of Omaha I avoid. West Omaha feels like it's dead. It's out there where it's just out there the stench of white privilege is still extremely strong. And I don't care about you folks who are offended. This is a real thing. And it sucks that it still exists and that we actually have people killing my people. We're not killing nobody except each other like fools, but trying to kill en masse black people, scared of blacks, wanting to keep that unfair advantage. It was wrong in the first place. But anyway, while I was out there, I stopped out to Half Price Books because that's the only location in town. And in the past, I've found things there. And there was nothing there. Nothing. And I ran into a musician that I know, hadn't seen in a while. And I had to talk to him. I said, man, have you ever seen anything like this before? Because they had a lockbox, part of the browse section of the records, that was encased in glass with a little place where you could stick your finger through and browse of their so-called collector's records, which were all trash. And I said, man, have you ever seen anything like this before? And I said, this is just so typical of this West Omaha bullshit attitude. I'd never seen this before. You know, you got to lock records up from the customers. What the fuck is that? So, didn't find nothing there. So, once you scratch the itch, you know, you got to go. So I went on downtown before I went home, and I went to Grapefruit. I go to Grapefruit first anymore because I know that they have stuff that I want. Homer's has been home based forever, but I got to give it up to Simon Joyner. Grapefruit is kicking ass. And excuse me. And sure enough, they had stuff, and I spent more than I wanted to. It's not that I can't, but it's, again, this whole idea of living on the bottom end of things where you're always got to be thinking about, well, if this happens, if that happens, you know, I'll be screwed. You know, so you try to keep money, you know, for emergencies. But I spent more than I really wanted to, but I'm not sorry. And hopefully the house, geez, we got all this business already. So see, interesting how things go. That's the band RAF getting in action, finally, really getting in action, getting that album mastered. We're about to get the album mastered so we can get this made. But I found some good stuff at Grapefruit. I do collect Piero Umiliani. He became familiar to me through his soundtrack work and library music work. That's what I meant to say. So in the used section at Grapefruit, somebody's selling their collection off. I bought some a while back, and then this showed up. Omaggio ad Einstein. Moggi is another one of the aliases of Piero Umiliani. I hadn't even read the back of this. This is a Dagored is a label out of Italy that's been doing some really wonderful reissue work with soundtracks, Ennio Morricone and stuff. Hadn't read this yet, but listen to this one, and this was edgy, real synthesizery, but kind of sharp. A lot of the timbres on this are really cutting. Purposely, obviously, I need to read the back. I was so pleased to find that. This is the kind of stuff I love to find. This is just fun for me. These kinds of records are fun for me. Also in the used section, I was like, yeah, I got to grab this. ESG. Come Away with ESG. Believe that it was a band of sisters or relatives up in New York, and back when post-punk, I love that shade of orange, was popping, ESG had an underground hit called Moody. Very moody, yeah, yeah. And I can make this claim to fame because that's always been my trip. Music is, I want to know what's going on for real in the world. So when I hear in Omaha, didn't nobody know about no fucking ESG, hardly at all. And yet I, in the band Maroons with Joe Budenholzer, who was very hip musically, we covered Moody back shortly. It was not long after it came out that we were here in Omaha playing it. Nobody else knew about that shit. That was also along with when I was, like I said, with my other band, Digital Sex, that had more notoriety at the time. We're playing all this music nobody else was playing. The Cure before anybody was playing them. Modern English. Joy Division and New Order. And I'd have to look up the... there's more obscure stuff that I got the band to play because I said these are good songs. November Group. I have a hard time remembering. So of the new albums I bought, this is not new, but it was in the new section. It came out in 2016, but finally I got some vinyl. Some vinyl showed up in Omaha finally of Moor Mother. Now I've mentioned her before that she's an artist that I've noticed that I've taken, note of, that this woman is doing some heavy shit. So this is her 2016 album, Fetish Bones. Wow, this is incredibly intense, visceral, pulls no punches. Everything about it, from the sound collages and the work on here is, wow, this is really amazing. It really is. And on top of that, her words are sharp. I guess that's the word of the day, cutting and sharp. She is expressing in a very, very real and educated but very angry way. She's expressing the madness, the historical madness of racism and sexism. Some of the, she just is nailing it on here. Some of the way that she uses the juxtaposition of choirs, black choirs wailing, singing hard, other parts. This just kind of like, whoa, and it's just really intense. And if there's any person that raps that I would want to tell people about, this is them. This is it. Moor Mother. Everyone is enthralled and in rapture to Kendrick Lamar's new record, and I see it, and I understand it, because he's a very strong. But I don't know. I don't think y'all are ready for Moor Mother. They had another album of hers down there, but I got this one. So, I ain't gonna lie. Part of my mission is today, in an hour, when the store opens, I'm going down to get it if it's there. And I hope it's there. Moor Mother. Intense. Excellent. On point. Pulls no punches about racism, sexism, and the insanity of it. And as I say myself, I don't understand this world at all. I don't understand why we got to be so fucked up. Finally got a copy of this. This is a reissue. When I was a kid, still in high school, I had a copy of their first album, Mighty Baby. Got it as a cutout. I liked it, but I was a kid, and I played it to the point that I got rid of it. It's very collectible now. I have records like that. They seem it's like, man, I had this too soon. You go through changes where you'll think, I'm done with this record, I'm done with this music, and then later you'll be thinking, wow, that was one of my favorites. Why did I get rid of it? And then I kept other records that weren't on that level. Strange, isn't it? A Jug of Love, I think this is their second album. Now, frankly, there's only one song that I bought this for. The Happiest Man in the Carnival. That's the only song on here that sounds like it. The rest of the album is all country, which I just really don't give a shit about. But the song that I mentioned, oh God, I'd love to find a whole album. Albums of that. It's magical sounding. The whole song. It's just what I'm looking for. It's like misty. It's the sound of being in a forest-like area in the morning when the dew is still and the fog is rising, and it's just like beauty, so beautiful. The words don't match the music to me, so again, I just don't bother with words. It's the big picture. So glad to get that for that one song. Worth it for the one song, absolutely. Here's an album that back in the day when it came out, I always wanted to get it and just never had a chance. And so I picked up this reissue on Superior Viaduct of Ilitch. Periodic Mindtrouble. This is primarily one person, Thierry Muller. Very much like Helden in that wheelhouse of guitars, droning synths, long passages of repetition that just slowly undulates and changes, but done with great effect. Now, frankly, I had never heard this record. I just had seen it all these years. This came out in 1978. Never heard it until I bought it yesterday. I thought it would be darker because it has an industrial look to it, to me. Whenever I'd see this, I would think about bands like Factrix and Throbbing Gristle. But this is much more like Helden. Really good. Real good. I got two more. Another one from the new section. Another one. I love Stereolab. And when this came out, 2001, where does the time go? Because it always seems like this was like, they just put this out. No, this came out, 20 years ago, whatever. Sound Dust by Stereolab. Love this band, I do. And this is one where they really go for that. It's inspired by Brian Wilson and library music. I wish I could be more specific, but it's like they're playing music for these commercials from another planet, and I love it. And this comes with an extra disc of I think some practice sessions or something, but I was really happy to get this. I don't know if I've mentioned it recently, but I've seen Stereolab twice, possibly 3 times. Got to meet Letitia Sadier and talk about krautrock or just the music that we love, and it was so cool because I could tell that it's like when I started talking about Faust, her eye went up and it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting this from I love it, and I've experienced this many times, so I know I'm not imagining this. I love it. Last thing I found was Bernard Fevre, Orbit Ceremony 77. Now, when I saw it in the used section, I could not remember why his name was familiar to me, but I looked at it and I said, yeah, no, this is going home with me. I know this is and this is exactly what I like. And it's on a nice reissue color vinyl, which is just fun. But this is totally electronic, no vocals, and real good. And I can't really compare it to anyone. Maybe Jean-Jacques Perry, Kingsley, those guys. It's good stuff. So I'm still not going to do the discus because I want to, I got to listen to that stuff again and really give you a good overview of what I think. With that in mind, someone I don't know sent me a clip, or rather posted a picture where there's a German magazine, I don't even know what the magazine is, where there's a picture of me and they're referencing me through my videos reviewing Guy Seger's Eclectic Maybe Band, but it's in German, so I don't know what it says, but I went ahead and forwarded that to Guy, and he was surprised because he had not seen the review, and so he's going to find out. But isn't that cool? For me, it is. It's cool, It's being last thing about Leroy, because I see him over the 20-minute mark. I'm going to finish up here. Leroy comes from like most people, honestly, he's very material-oriented and money-oriented, and also from his generation. Like I said, he's 84. Everything's about money and how much, you know. And so as I was sharing with Leroy my my music, the records I've made, the things I've done, and you know, he's very, very impressed, and he says it's just gonna keep getting better. And, you know, the money's coming. I said, Leroy, I really want you to try to understand this. I already have the best part. I'll take more money, but that's not what this is about for me. It never was. And I told him, I said, Leroy, I want you to understand that I am different from your average person. I don't give one fuck about money. It's a tool. We need it. It's not my focus. I have the part of being an artist that I want and wanted. It is the thing. Like I said, Beatlemania has really colored my world, changed things. And ever since I was a little boy, it was me trying to parse out a bit. What is it about this that I want? Because I'm one of them. You know, I'm an artist. And it wasn't the girls. It wasn't the money. It wasn't the fake adulation. It was real recognition for what you're able to do. And I have it. And I had to, it came up a few times in different conversations while he was in town. And I was happy to be able to share that with Leroy, because he would tell me about, he won a lottery once, and he told me about some things where he ended up with some big settlements, and you know, just talking money like most people, money, you know, like that's the thing. And I'm just saying, I don't care, you know. That's not what impresses me, how much money you got or ever had, and it's not what I'm about. I already have the best part of being a musician, artist in the public domain. And no one can take it from me like they can take your money. And that's what we talked about. It's like, that's another reason why I don't care about money. It's like, you get something that everybody wants to get, and then it's like you have this whole issue of protecting it and stuff. I'm not interested in that. And what is the most valuable to me, no one can take from me. Now you have poot butts and people who are full of shit and hate themselves, who will come along and try to sling the shit at you and try to, you know, mentally fuck with you because something's wrong with them. They're unhappy. But again, thankfully, due to who I am, as well as my education and my natural interest in people, I see them coming from miles away. Haven't always, but it's like, you can't take this from me. That's why when people come along to here and say stupid shit, I just delete that shit. It's like, what is wrong with y'all? You know, okay? You're not fooling nobody, so come on. Love is the answer. Why can't we get it together? Why can't we get that together?